Good day, Bambi. Welcome to the International Art Doll Registry podcast.
Hi, everybody.
So, today we're going to talk about using Instagram Live. Now, have you used?
I have done it in the past, but not for any kind of tutorial or anything like that. When for a while I've always looked for ways to make money from home. And so any kind of internet way of making money, I tried. One of the best marketing things for that was to go live. It was easy to get people to click. That was a real click through kind of business. For what I do now when I do tutorials, I'm so much more of a perfectionist in a tutorial that I put out there. I don't want to just ramble. And sometimes what I make a tutorial, it may take me 2 or 3 days to make it. I don't feel comfortable being live and doing a tutorial, if that makes any sense.
Well, my question is that my first thought with going live is timing because you want to do it when it's convenient to you or when you're in the moment of doing something, but then who do you really figure is going to be watching you at that time frame?
Yes, you really have to do a lot of market research for your target audience to kind of get that in. When I look at some of the people who I like to watch live, I almost never get in there. They put out for a week or so, they advertise that they're going to be going live. And I don't care if it's Saturday evening at 6 o'clock or Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. I can't seem to ever make it when I'm locked into a time, which is another reason I'm reluctant to go live because people are depending on me. I don't feel comfortable having people rely on me. It kind of gets to be too much of a chore then.
So, to clarify this, because my understanding is that when you go live, you're live there for a few minutes, but then Instagram will save that. So you're actually still kind of a recording, or do you have to post it as a recording? I don't think it gets posted. I think it just goes on your newsfeed for like 30 days or something, isn't it?
I haven't done it enough to really say for sure if that's the case. But I do on Instagram, I do think it goes away after a certain period of time. 30 days sounds about right. You can post them, say to your story or share it on Facebook or other social media, but I don't know then how long it lasts there. I've never really done that.
My biggest thing is I kind of keep comparing the two. Like if I do a video or a tutorial or something like that versus going live with it, because as you just said, you'd have to pretty much announce ahead of time that you're going live. That is it just that Instagram gives us that much more push for being live versus us doing, say, a reel, because a reel I know certainly gets a lot of reach.
Yes, I think whenever you go live, it depends on when you're there. What the audience is like when you're there, which is like playing roulette to me. That is so difficult for me to narrow down my target audience to,
Mhm.
I mean, between 5 year age span and stuff like that is, I think, how can I narrow that down? Being able to do that, it's really hard to know when those people are online. Plus, most of those people that are do fall into my target audience, they're online at midnight.
Well, this is what was amazing me because Anna Espiotto from Italy was the one who really kind of got me interested about this because she is such a natural on Instagram. She makes me jealous. But the thing is that she was posting a couple of things from the convention and she was getting easily 600 views. She even got over 1,000 on some of them. Now, she wasn't aware of that because she was just doing them and stuff. And I was coming back and showing her the results. And that's kind of, it's like, man, that's a lot of views. Is that the kind of like the thing that clutches us and we've got to now do it then because I need those views? Or is it still saying, okay, that's great, but I can do a video on YouTube and also get 1,000 views on that too?
Say early on in the summer, I started really focusing on what is going to earn money. It's fun to make videos, and I like the communities that I'm building, but the communities I'm building on Instagram and TikTok are so small. I don't think ever in my lifetime I would be able to make money just from that. if I had more of an online sales presence, so if I did more sales online than I do in person, then I think it might be more important. Most of the stuff that I have for sale is not really online. I have it in my store. So the only way I'm really going to make money on Instagram is not by selling things, but by having a lot of subscribers and getting a lot of views so that I could be able to have advertisements so advertisements could make money and Instagram would pay me. It'll be easy for me to make money on YouTube without having to sell a lot of stuff online, if that makes sense.
Well, and it's twofold because as you're bringing up this business about selling our product, because again, if we have a physical product like you and I both do, we need to almost still sell it in person because with shipping now has just gone up again this summer. It's ridiculous. And
And when you're looking at such a high price item, something that's so stylized and unique, people are reluctant to pay that on for something online unless they met you at a show. We all know seeing it online, no picture or video is going to do what seeing it in person
oh,
does.
absolutely. I mean, that
So
really came home after doing this convention in Italy because I saw all the works of Lorena's and Patricia. I did not really truly grasp the size of their dolls until I
oh
saw them there in reality. And it was just
yeah,
like I
and
was
yeah,
blown away.
yeah, the detail.
Yes.
You can look at pictures and videos all day long, and it just doesn't do the same. Now, for people who sell other things like specifically jewelry, I'm going to use that as an example because that's a big seller. If you're selling jewelry, jewelry's an easy sell online. You can make dozens of the same piece of jewelry, and it's easy to make sales and get reviews, and people are much more willing to spend $20 to take a chance on $20 or $50 for a piece of jewelry from you than they are $1,000 for a handmade doll.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely. In your understanding then that for you at this point, you don't see where the going live would make a real big difference for your what you're trying to do.
that's correct. Here's the other problem I have with lives on Instagram. I don't sit and look at Instagram the way that I do other things like YouTube. If somebody is live on Instagram, and let's say they're only going to be there for just however, I don't even know how long you can go live on Instagram now. I want to see a tutorial of some kind. I don't want to see a showcase of what you've got for sale.
In some respects, that Instagram kind of leads the pack. That I think YouTube is still where I want to head out to because long term, my videos can stay out there longer than what's necessarily going to be posted on Instagram.
If you have a larger online presence, say you sell a lot on Etsy, eBay, or you have your own website, or there's so many others now. If you do a fair amount of online sales through any of those platforms, I think that Instagram is absolutely the way to go because you're reaching those people who are shopping online. They're being marketed to online. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? From that perspective, I think it's very lucrative. Now, if you do more sales in person, you have a store or you go to
It all shows.
markets and
Yeah.
yes, doll shows where you sell in person or you work with people in person, then I think that something like YouTube that is a longer platform, lucrative for that.
How do you feel how AI is making things look more real? Do you think that real looking to some of the posts also takes away from doing live, or do you think that makes being live even more important?
I think again, it kind of depends on your audience. I'm finding people that are our age think that AI is an abomination.
Hmm.
Whereas people my son's age, they grew up with Harry Potter and photos that move. So to
Hmm.
them, it's just a natural progression of technology.
Because I think really what our generation is really saying is we don't trust AI. We don't have that openness to it. So therefore we can't trust it. So therefore we can't trust the product. Where the younger kids don't have that trust issue because it's just not an issue for them.
We've grown up with the science fiction of AI taken over, had that fear for 50 to 60 years. And where the younger generation has not had that fear. They haven't, they have had seen a little bit of it, but they didn't grow up with that fear. Transmorphed onto this topic. I was reading a fantasy book today. The series is has a lot of magic in it. And for a change, they kind of discuss the science of magic. And
Mhm.
I'm reading the series for the fourth time, which is also very unusual. And as I'm reading it, I'm thinking to myself, it hits me all of a sudden that the entire magic system in this book is AI. Whoa.
That was an
Like going,
epiphany.
oh,
Well, that's how come I always find it interesting what the author is told that she meant when she wrote it, when she never had a clue at all, when the person's
yeah.
just trying to grasp at anything to convey what
She's
she's
just
trying to
trying to write a
say.
bestseller.
Well, at this point, from what I'm hearing you say, is the fact that it's like anything, know your product. And as if you're using Instagram, because just yesterday I saw somebody posting on Facebook saying that they're fed up with Instagram and they're going to get back to Facebook. When you know that Instagram and Facebook are both ran by the same person, it's like, how do you expect one to be any different than the other?
Yeah.
But it simply goes back to, as long as you're looking to the other mediums, like YouTube, and I'm still trying to get Blue Sky off the ground, those are the only ones that you really truly can change your audience.
It's so, so true. And for those of you out there who do not think that AI is an abomination and are happy enough to use it, if you're using the free version of just Chat GPT, it's easy to find out so many things that we didn't really know we could find out. Like we just talked about how difficult it is to really narrow down your audience. You can use ChatGPT to do that. And
Mm-hmm.
it can pinpoint for you all the things that any marketing program will tell you you need to know. AI can narrow all of that down for you in a way that I could never figure that out in my own head. Do those people like to watch Instagram? And what time are they on there? Do they like to look at lives? Do they like to watch reels? It really is a lot of that kind of thing. And if you're willing to put in the work, I think that going live on any platform, whatever you use, can be lucrative. But again, it's like anything else. You got to do the research and you got to find out the best way to go about it. You can find out so much stuff. And, I didn't realize until, I even watched some YouTube videos on how to get the most out of Chat GPT, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I learned when you ask it something and it gives you an answer,
Mm-hmm.
to correct it like you would a toddler and say, yes, that's great. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Or no, so to be more specific and to give it not praise, but positive reinforcement or correcting its behavior or thought process so that it will learn how to respond to you better. Part of you's going, oh, wow, that's so cool. And the other part of you's like, oh my God, I've got to go build a bunker on my property. So, it's just, you just don't know what to do anymore to be happy or sad.
Exactly. And that's the whole problem is I said, if you have any kind of presence, a website, you're on the social medias, people can find out things about you that you don't even realize just because
Yes.
you put that information out there. Even when you bought something online, it's out there. As we can talk about how to use the link option on Instagram for the people's choice, get more of it out there. So it'll be interesting to see and how that can promote us being seen by just using that link option. So
Yeah.
we can talk a little bit more about that next month. Well, you've given us a lot to think about. We'll see you next month and
Okay, that sounds great. See ya.